Would you like to learn about change management in enterprise architecture? If so, this video is for you. Hi, my name's Mike Gibbs. I've been an enterprise architect for a little over 25 years. And in today's video, we're going to talk about change management. Specifically, we will describe what is change management in enterprise architecture, the goals of change management in enterprise architecture, the types of change management we actually have in enterprise architecture, and the enterprise architecture change management process. So to begin, what is change management? So change management is really a strategic discipline that enables the enterprise to plan, to govern, and coordinate changes inside of the organization. And that could be changes to business capabilities, changes to key business processes, changes to technology. The key here is to make sure we've got organizational alignment between the people, the processes, and technologies to get to the organization's goals. And in our world, it's going to be both the process side as an enterprise architect as well as the technology. If it was more of a cloud architect role, it would be more of the technology where the change management would be, although there would still be some element of people and processes as well. So the goals here, the reason we're performing change management is we want to make sure that we align the technology with the business strategy and the business's capability needs. We want to make sure that architecture projects don't come out of nowhere. That when there is an architecture project, we make sure that it's going to adhere to our standards, any of the roadmaps we have, and that it will have a good impact in the overall business. And the goal here is to reduce redundancy inside of our organizations, reduce complexity, and that way we can guide whether they be our cloud architects, solutions architects, or other architects, as well as business executives, to do things in the most efficient manner possible. And by making sure we track changes and we approve changes before they occur, we can make sure those changes will cause no harm because we've already done a good, strong impact analysis to know the impact of the changes on the overall system. Now, in enterprise architecture, there's kind of a few types of changes we typically deal with. We could have very strategic changes, and that could be driven by a market disruption. For example, big tariffs which is going to change the way the world might actually sell or produce or where they do things, or something like that. Anytime we've got some big policy change, for example, that could do it, or a disruptive technology like AI could be a reason an organization might need strategic changes. Now, we typically have architectural type changes, which could be just modifications to core enterprise architecture layers, saying a cloud migration or a new ERP system, something to that effect. We may actually have some solution-led changes where we're impacting more of a specific business unit or a specific capability or the organization. Or, of course, we could have compliance-driven changes where there's regulations that force us to do business in a different way. So, let's talk about the change management process in enterprise architecture. So as soon as we want to make a change, we need to figure out what is the trigger for that change, because we don't want to just make a change for no reason. And it could be a strategic initiative or a project request or some external business driver. So first we identify the change, and then we have to do an impact assessment. We have to look at that architecture and we have to assess the impact of the change. And that could be an impact on the business. It could be an impact on the applications. It could be an impact on the underlying technology like a network. But we need to understand the impact. And that's why we need many stakeholders as part of this process. So once we do that, we need a governance review. And that's where we say we have an architectural review board or an enterprise architectural review board or an architectural governance committee. And that's going to contain stakeholders from various departments. And they're going to examine the impact of the change to the overall system. And at that point, they can strategically advise whether this will be good or not good. Now, at that point, that architectural review board will evaluate the trade-offs associated with the change, potential alternatives to the change itself, evaluate things whether it will be good or bad long-term, is it going to create technical debt, that type of thing. Now, at that point, we typically have to create a roadmap and come up with any transitions that need to occur. Maybe we can make the change once. Maybe we need a transition, for example, for AI. Maybe we need to make sure the network's good and then the data is good, and then we can do AI after all those projects are done first. So we need to be able to think about that. Now, at this point, we need to provide some sort of implementation and oversight and governance, provide guidance here, ensure conformance to the system and the approved architectural patterns inside of our organization. And then once there's a change, it's basically checking the change and make sure the change has been good for the system. So in this video, we covered the enterprise architecture change management process. If you would like to become an enterprise architect or a cloud architect or a security architect or an AI architect, we have training programs for all of these wonderful careers. And we also hold free architecture webinars live on Zoom twice per week. And in these free architecture webinars, we will go over the role. We will talk about the skills you need to be various types of architects. We will tell you exactly everything you need to get hired and what mistakes that most people make. And I don't want you to make them because I want you to get hired. These webinars are completely free. You can find them in the description of this video. Sign up. Come on the webinar. We'll do anything we can. We'll talk about the role, and then I'll answer any career questions you may have on any of these architecture roles, whether it be an enterprise architect or a security architect or a cloud architect, what have you. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell to be notified of new videos to assist you in your IT architecture career. This is Mike Gibbs signing off for now, and I hope to see you in another video or a free webinar where I can meet you face to face and we can have a conversation. Take care.